Let me tell you something powerful. Your life right now is not the result of your wishes. It's not the result of your wants. Your life right now is a reflection of who you are. Everything you have or don't have flows directly from your identity. This idea changed everything for me years ago, and it might just change everything for you today. I was sitting at my kitchen table, bills piled high, bank account running low, opportunities nowhere in sight. I kept asking, why can't I get ahead? Then my mentor asked me a question that stopped me cold. Have you ever considered that you don't attract what you want, but what you are? That question was worth a fortune to me. Think about this. We're all broadcasting who we are every minute of every day. Our thoughts, our attitudes, our behaviors, our skills, our habits. They're all sending signals out into the world. And here's the incredible thing. The world responds not to what we say we want, but to who we actually are. Look at your bank account right now. That number isn't random. It's a precise measurement of the value you've delivered to the marketplace. Want more money, become more valuable. Your relationships aren't accidental either. They're an exact mirror of your relationship skills and emotional maturity. Your health reflects your daily habits, not your occasional wishes. Some folks spend their whole lives fighting this principle. They pray for prosperity while holding on to poverty thinking. They hope for success while maintaining unsuccessful habits. They wish for better relationships while harboring bitterness and resentment. And then they wonder why nothing changes. This law is operating whether you understand it or not, whether you like it or not. It's like gravity. It doesn't check with you first. You can fight gravity all day long, but it still works. The same is true for this principle. You don't attract what you are. You attract what you are. Now here's some good news. Once you understand this principle, you gain incredible power. Because while you might not be able to change your circumstances overnight, you can begin changing yourself immediately. And when you change yourself, you change the signals you're sending to the world. You change what you attract. The marketplace pays for value. It doesn't pay for need. I needed money for a long time before I ever got any. Then I learned to offer more value. When I became more valuable, I started attracting more valuable opportunities. That's how it works. Let's get really clear about something. Most people have their lives completely backward. They believe if they had more money, they could do more things, and then they would be happy. But that formula never works. The correct sequence: you must first become the person who deserves the things you want, then the doing and having follow naturally. This truth reveals why so many people stay stuck. They keep waiting for their circumstances to change so they can change. But that's not how life works. Life responds to who you are, not to who you plan to be someday or who you wish you were. You might be thinking, but I know what I want. I've set goals, made vision boards, recited affirmations. That's fine. But wanting something doesn't automatically make you the person who can attract it. Let me give you an example. Say you want financial independence, that's a good goal. But the real question is, are you a financially independent person in your thinking, in your habits, in your skills? Because if you're not, then all the wanting in the world won't bring it to you. You'll keep attracting financial situations that match who you currently are. This is where most people get frustrated. They say, I've been visualizing wealth for years, but I'm still struggling. The problem isn't with visualization, it's that they haven't become the person who deserves wealth. They haven't developed the mindset, the work ethic, the skills, the habits, or the character of a wealthy person. The truth is sometimes hard to hear, but always valuable to know. And here's the truth. The world doesn't respond to your desires. It responds to your development. It doesn't reward your needs. It rewards your contributions. It doesn't care what you want. It cares about who you are. Now let's talk about what this means practically. If you're not satisfied with what you're currently attracting, you need to change who you are. Not superficially, but fundamentally. Start with your standards. Your standards determine what you'll accept in your life, and what you accept determines what you receive. Most people have tragically low standards. They tolerate mediocrity in their work. They accept disrespect in their relationships. They allow excuses in their thinking. Your standards aren't what you say they are. They're what your actions show they are. Take a hard look at your life right now. Everything you have and don't have reflects your true standards, not your stated ones. Next, develop your value system. What you value determines what you pursue. If you value comfort over growth, you'll create a comfortable life that never expands. If you value security over opportunity, you'll build a secure life with few chances for major success. The question isn't whether you have values. Everyone does. The question is whether your values are serving you or limiting you. Some people value entertainment so highly, they spend 4 hours daily watching television while complaining they don't have time for education or exercise. Other people value immediate gratification so strongly they spend their whole paycheck as soon as they get it, then wonder why they never accumulate wealth. Your value system is like an invisible hand guiding all your decisions. If your life isn't what you want it to be, examine what you truly value. Not what you say you value, but what your habits show you value. Here's a powerful exercise. Write down the 5 things you spend most of your time, money, and emotional energy on. That list will reveal your true values better than any words could. And if you don't like what you see, it's time to develop a new value system. One that prioritizes growth, contribution, excellence, integrity, and long-term thinking. Now let's talk about character versus personality. We live in a world obsessed with personality, with how things appear rather than how they actually are. But success isn't built on personality. It's built on character. Personality might get you in the door, but character keeps you in the room. Character is who you are when no one is looking. It's keeping promises to yourself. It's doing the right thing even when it costs you. It's taking responsibility rather than making excuses. It's following through when the excitement of starting has worn off. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to attract better circumstances without building better character. They want the reward without the responsibility. They want the success without the struggle. They want the victory without the battle. But life doesn't work that way. Your character determines your destiny because your character determines what you'll do consistently. And what you do consistently creates your life. You might be able to fool others temporarily with a winning personality, but you can't fool the mirror. You know who you are, and your results reflect that reality. Building character isn't complicated, but it isn't easy either. It means choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. It means keeping commitments when you don't feel like it. It means giving your best when no one would notice if you gave less. It means telling the truth when a lie would be more convenient. Every time you make one of these choices, you build your character, and as your character grows, your capacity grows with it. You become capable of handling bigger opportunities, greater responsibilities, and higher rewards. Not because you want them, but because you've become the person who deserves them. There are 5 areas where you need to focus your development if you want to change what you're attracting. I've seen this pattern over decades of studying successful people. They all develop these 5 areas, and when they do, they transform what they attract. The first area is mindset. Your thoughts create your reality because your thoughts determine your choices, and your choices determine your results. If you think like a victim, you'll act like a victim, and you'll get a victim's results. If you think like a victor, you'll act like a victor, and you'll get a victor's results. Most people never realize how much their thinking limits them. They have thoughts like, I'm not good with money or success, it's for other people, or it's too late for me to change. And these thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. Remember, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you think determines a large part of who you are. Developing your mindset means becoming vigilant about the thoughts you allow to take root. It means replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. It means choosing faith over fear, possibility over problem, opportunity over obstacle. Not once, but thousands of times, until your new thinking becomes automatic. The second area is skills. The marketplace rewards skills, not intentions. Good intentions might make you feel better, but good skills make you more valuable. And remember, you don't get paid for need. You get paid for value. What skills do you currently have that the marketplace values? What skills could you develop that would increase your value? Remember that skills are learnable. No one is born knowing how to program computers, manage teams, or invest in real estate. These are all skills that can be developed through study and practice. The person who is constantly adding new skills is constantly increasing their value. They're becoming more attractive to opportunity. They're developing a greater capacity to serve others. And service to others is the foundation of all legitimate success. The third area is habits. We are what we repeatedly do. Your habits, the small actions you take day after day, are creating your future with unstoppable momentum. The question isn't whether you have habits. The question is whether your habits are moving you towards success or away from it. Look at your daily routine. Does it reflect the person you want to become? Are you reading daily to expand your mind? Are you exercising regularly to strengthen your body? Are you practicing your craft to sharpen your skills? Are you managing your money wisely to build your wealth? Are you investing in relationships that elevate you? If your habits don't support your aspirations, then you're fighting a losing battle. Your daily routine is either building your desired future or preventing it. There's no neutral ground. Every day your habits are making you better or making you worse. They're moving you forward or pulling you backward. The fourth area is relationships. You've probably heard that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's true, your associations don't just influence you. They shape you. They set the standard for what's normal, what's acceptable, and what's possible in your life. Look carefully at who you're spending time with. Do they inspire you to be better, or do they comfort you for staying the same? Do they challenge your thinking, or do they reinforce your limitations? Do they hold you to high standards, or do they help you rationalize mediocrity? Changing your associations can be difficult, but few things will impact your life more dramatically. When you surround yourself with people who are positive, purposeful, and productive, you naturally become more positive, purposeful, and productive yourself. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because their standards become your new normal. The fifth area is attitude. Your attitude determines your approach to life. It shapes how you interpret events and how you respond to challenges. It influences whether you see problems or possibilities, whether you give up or get up, whether you blame or take responsibility. Some people have developed the habit of finding the negative in every situation. They complain, criticize, and condemn. And not surprisingly, they attract more things to complain about, more people to criticize, and more circumstances to condemn. Their attitude ensures it. Others have developed a habit of finding opportunity in every situation. They look for lessons in failures, silver linings in setbacks, and possibilities in problems. And they attract more opportunities, more growth experiences, and more possibilities. Again, their attitude ensures it. Your attitude isn't something you're born with. It's something you choose and develop over time. You can decide right now to adopt an attitude of gratitude, possibility, and responsibility. And when you do, you'll begin attracting people and circumstances that match your new attitude. Now let's talk about daily disciplines. Successful people are willing to do daily what unsuccessful people do occasionally. They understand that small disciplines, repeated with consistency, create major breakthroughs over time. Reading 10 pages of a good book every day might not seem significant, but in a year, that's 3,650 pages, equivalent to about 15 books. Saving a small percentage of your income might not feel impactful today, but compounded over decades, it creates financial freedom. Making one sales call daily beyond your quota might seem minor, but over a career, it can generate millions in additional income. Small disciplines are like compound interest for your personal development. They don't pay off immediately, but given time, they create extraordinary returns. The challenge is that most people focus on the short term. They aren't willing to do small things consistently because they don't see instant results. This brings us to one of life's great truths. Success is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. It's not about doing one thing perfectly. It's about doing many things well over a long period. The person who works out intensely for 3 hours on January 1st, but never again, won't transform their health. The person who works out moderately for 30 minutes every day will. The person who makes 100 sales calls on Monday, but none the rest of the week, won't outperform the person who makes 20 calls every day. Consistency beats intensity almost every time. And consistency comes from daily disciplines, small actions that align with who you want to become, performed regularly without fail. These aren't impressive in the moment, but they're transformative over time. Consider also how your environment impacts who you are. Your physical surroundings, the information you consume, the culture you participate in, all these shape your thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. If you want to change what you attract, change your environment. Your environment is constantly influencing you, often below the level of conscious awareness. Make sure it's influencing you in ways that support your growth rather than undermining it. Remember, you don't just live in your environment lives in you. It becomes part of your thinking, part of your identity. This brings us to another powerful principle. You can change your environment faster than you can change yourself, and a changed environment helps create a changed self. If you want to become more disciplined, create an environment that makes discipline easier. If you want to become more positive, create an environment that supports positivity. Now let's talk about the success formula I've observed in thousands of lives. It's simple but profoundly effective. Here it is. Identify what you want. Identify the price. Pay the price. This formula works for anything worthwhile. Want better health? The price might be eliminating certain foods, exercising regularly, getting adequate sleep, and managing stress. Pay that price, and better health follows. Want financial freedom? The price might be living below your means, investing consistently, developing valuable skills, and delaying gratification. Pay that price, and financial freedom follows. The formula never fails. What fails is our willingness to identify the true price and pay it in full. We want the reward without the sacrifice, the result without the process, the destination without the journey. But life honors those who honor its laws. And one of those laws is that you must become the person who deserves what you desire. This brings us to personal responsibility, perhaps the most important factor in determining what you attract. Responsibility means accepting that you are the cause of your life, not just the effect. It means recognizing that while you can't control circumstances, you can control your response to them, and your response determines your results. The moment you accept total responsibility for everything in your life is the moment you gain the power to change anything in your life. As long as you blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck, you remain powerless. But when you take responsibility, you take back your power. Responsibility isn't about blame. It's about empowerment. It's not saying everything is your fault. It's saying everything is your opportunity. It's recognizing that regardless of what happens to you, what happens through you is within your control. The quality of your life ultimately depends on the quality of your choices. And your choices flow from who you are. If you want better choices, become a better person. If you want better options, become a better person. If you want better opportunities, become a better person. This is the great secret of life. Everything can change when you change. Everything improves when you improve. Everything gets better when you get better. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So let me leave you with this challenge. Starting today, focus less on what you want and more on who you need to become to attract it naturally. Spend less time wishing for better circumstances and more time creating a better self. Invest less energy in hoping for good luck and more energy in developing good character. Make a list of the qualities, habits, and skills that the person who deserves your desired life would have. Then start developing those qualities, implementing those habits, and acquiring those skills. Do this not occasionally, but daily, not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary, not until it gets difficult, but until it becomes automatic. This process isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because when you transform yourself, you transform what you attract. When you elevate your thinking, you elevate your life. When you expand your capacity, you expand your circumstances. Remember that life is not a lottery. It's a reflection. It mirrors back to you who you are, not who you want to be. So become the person who deserves the life you desire. Develop the mindset, skills, habits, relationships, and attitude that naturally attract success. Implement daily disciplines that compound over time. Create an environment that supports your growth. Take full responsibility for your life, recognizing that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control who you become. And who you become determines what you attract. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. This principle has transformed countless lives, and it can transform yours too. Not overnight, but over time. Not through wishing, but through becoming. Not by chance, but by choice. The journey of transformation begins with a single step. Take that step today. Become more so, you can attract more. Give more so you can receive more. Be more so you can achieve more. Remember, life gives not to your need, but to your deserve. So focus on becoming a person who deserves an extraordinary life. And an extraordinary life will naturally follow. Let me share something with you that took me years to understand. Most people spend their lives waiting for the right moment to change. They say, when I have more time, I'll read those books. When I have more money, I'll start that business. When I feel more confident, I'll pursue that opportunity. But here's the truth. The right moment never arrives. There's only this moment, and this moment is always enough to begin becoming the person you need to be. The most dangerous word in your vocabulary is someday. Someday I'll get in shape. Someday I'll fix my finances. Someday I'll improve my relationships. But someday isn't a day of the week. It's a place where dreams go to die. The successful person understands that today is the only day that matters because today shapes tomorrow. Choose the pain of discipline because the pain of regret is unbearable. Choose the pain that empowers rather than the pain that diminishes. Choose the pain that leaves you better, not bitter. If 30 years from now, you will arrive. The question is, where? And the answer depends on who you become between now and then. If you remain the same, your circumstances will remain largely the same. But if you grow, if you develop, if you expand your capacity, your circumstances will inevitably reflect that growth. I'm reminded of an ancient proverb. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Perhaps you wish you had started becoming this better version of yourself years ago, but that's irrelevant now. What matters is that you can start today. You can make this moment the turning point, the moment when everything began to change. And remember this, small changes consistently applied create massive results over time. You don't need to transform overnight. You just need to improve slightly every day. If you improve just one daily, in a year, you'll be 37 times better. That's the power of compound improvement. It works slowly at first, almost imperceptibly, but given time, it creates exponential growth. So many people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day, which leads to frustration. And they underestimate what they can accomplish in a year, which leads to demoralization. The key is to focus on daily progress, not daily perfection. Ask yourself each evening, did I move forward today? Did I improve, even slightly? If the answer is yes, celebrate that progress. If the answer is no, recommit to tomorrow. Never forget that success is not owned, it's rented. And the rent is due every day. The moment you stop paying that rent, through continuous learning, through disciplined action, through character development, is the moment success begins to slip away. Many people achieve success only to lose it because they forgot what got them there in the first place. You must remain hungry even after you've eaten. You must remain driven even after you've arrived. You must remain a student even after you've mastered your craft. Because the moment you think you've made it is the moment you begin to fall behind. Let me tell you one last thing. The greatest joy in life doesn't come from what you get. It comes from who you become. Yes, the external rewards are nice. The financial freedom, the recognition, the opportunities. But the greatest reward is internal. Becoming a person you can be proud of, developing character that stands the test of time, creating a life of meaning and contribution. When you focus on becoming rather than getting, something magical happens. The getting takes care of itself. But more importantly, you find fulfillment whether or not the external rewards come, because your satisfaction comes from growth, not just achievement. So starting today, ask better questions. Instead of what I want, ask who must I become? Instead of why don't I have more, ask how can I serve more? Instead of when will my circumstances improve, ask when will I improve? Because these questions lead to better answers. And better answers lead to a better life. You have everything you need to begin this transformation right now. You have the capacity to learn, to grow, to change. You have the ability to make new choices, develop new habits, and create new results. You have the power to rewrite your story, starting with the very next decision you make. Remember, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Become the person who deserves an extraordinary life, and watch as life responds in kind. Not immediately, but inevitably. Not accidentally, but intentionally. This is your moment. This is your time. Now, go become the person you were always capable of being.